You already know this stuff. You've watched the videos. You know what an index fund is. You know you should save more, spend less, avoid debt. And your bank account is still a leak you can't plug. That gap between what you know and what you actually do is the whole game. And history is brutally clear about it. The people who stay broke almost never lose on the math. They lose on the 7 quiet habits running underneath every dollar they touch. 6 of them you can fix this week. The 7th is the strange one. It's why people who do everything right can still feel broke for the rest of their lives. Let's start with the habit that bleeds you the slowest and the most. Habit 1. You save whatever's left at the end of the month, which is almost always nothing. The month always finds a way to eat it. 4,000 years ago in Babylon, a broke scribe named Arcad asked the richest man in the city for his secret. He got one sentence back. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. Not what's left. A part you take first, before anyone else gets paid. The trick your brain plays is simple. Money you can see, you spend. Money that vanishes before you touch it, you never miss. So flip the order. The second income lands, 10% moves out, automatically, before rent, before food, before the things sitting in your cart. You don't save what's left after spending. You spend what's left after saving. Poor isn't a math problem. It's an order of operations problem. You're paying yourself last. Quick gut check before we go on. Be honest in the comments. Are you here to save more, kill debt, or start investing? Whatever you pick, this next one's probably the reason it isn't working yet. Habit 2. You never actually decided how much is enough. So the answer is always more. And more is a horizon. It moves every time you walk toward it. Here's the part nobody likes to hear. The richest people in history weren't the ones who earned the most. They were the ones who knew when to stop wanting. A man with a normal income and a clear enough retires calm. A man earning 10 times more with no enough is just a high-earning hamster on a wheel that never stops. Marcus Aurelius ran the entire Roman Empire and still wrote to himself at night. You could leave life right now. Let that decide what you do. He owned everything and trained his mind to want almost nothing. Your move is small and uncomfortable. Write down the actual number. The yearly income that would make you feel free. Most people never do it. And you can't hit a target you refuse to name. Habit 3. Every time you earn more, you spend more, and you feel exactly as broke as before. Psychologists have a name for it. The hedonic treadmill. The raise comes, so the car gets nicer, the apartment bigger, the phone newer. 6 months later, the upgrade feels normal. The thrill is gone, and your savings rate hasn't moved an inch. It's why lottery winners go broke, and why a doctor pulling 400 grand a year can still live paycheck to paycheck. It was never about how much came in. It was about how fast the lifestyle rose to eat it. Old money families learned this the hard way generations ago. That's why the truly wealthy so often drive dull cars and wear cheap watches. They refuse to let the lifestyle grow every single time the income does. The fix takes one decision. On your next raise or bonus, before it ever touches your spending, send half of it straight to that jar from habit 1. You won't feel it now. You'll feel it in 10 years. Habit 4. You put money into what excites you instead of what you understand. Exciting is loud. The coin a friend texts you at midnight. The startup your cousin pitched after 3 episodes of a business show. The stock a stranger online swears is about to rocket. P.T. Barnum, the circus showman who died rich and wrote a little book called The Art of Money Getting, had one rule he repeated harder than any other. Never go into a business you don't understand. He watched 100 men lose everything betting on trades they couldn't explain, dazzled by a promise instead of a plan. Here's what actually happens in your head. When you don't understand something you own, you don't really own it. It owns you. Every dip becomes a panic because you've got nothing solid to hold. So the rule is boring on purpose. If you can't explain it to a sharp 12-year-old, your money stays out. Understood and dull beats exciting and mysterious. Every time. Habit 5. You keep reaching for the fast version, and the fast version keeps taking your money. This isn't new, and that's the point. In 1637, grown men in Holland traded their houses for a single tulip bulb, sure the price would only climb. It collapsed in a week. In 1720, half of London poured their savings into the South Sea Company on a promise of impossible returns. It wiped them out. Same trap, new costume, over and over for 400 years. Here's the con your own mind runs. When you feel behind, fast looks like the way to catch up. But fast money is almost always somebody else's exit. The person selling the shortcut is getting rich off the shortcut, not off the thing it promises you. Real wealth is slow. One coin in a jar, every day, for 30 years. Nobody puts that on a thumbnail because nobody clicks it. But it's the only road that doesn't dead end in a screenshot of an empty account. Habit 6. You spend money to look rich, which is the fastest way to never be it. A pair of researchers once went hunting for American millionaires. They kept finding them in modest houses, driving used cars, wearing $30 watches. Meanwhile, the people in the leased sports cars and head-to-toe designer? A lot of them were drowning, financing a costume they couldn't afford. They wrote it all down in a book called The Millionaire Next Door. This is the cruelest habit on the list, because the brain falls for it so easily. The watch on your wrist isn't the asset. The thing that pays for the watch is. But we mistake the symbol for the real thing constantly. It feels rich to look rich, right up until looking rich makes you poor. Try this today. If a stranger can guess your income from one photo, you're playing to lose. The richest person in the room usually looks like the poorest. Quiet is the flex. And now the 7th, the strange one I promised. The first 6 you can fix with a decision. This last one is deeper, and it's why people who do everything right can still feel poor forever. You think about money as a number. The habit that actually frees you is thinking about money as time. Every dollar you keep isn't a figure in an app. It's an hour of your future you just bought back. An hour you don't have to sell to anyone. A morning you get to keep. The people who stay anxious their whole lives, even after they're objectively safe, all make the same mistake. They chase a bigger number forever and never trade it in for the one thing it was ever for. Freedom. Time. A slow morning. A no they finally get to say. 2,000 years ago, Seneca wrote a line that lands harder than any budget. It's not that we have a short life. It's that we waste most of it. He was talking about time, but every word of it is true about money, because in the end, they're the same currency. So that's the 7th habit. Stop counting the dollars. Start counting the hours they buy back. Before you click away, do one thing. Pick one. Just one of the 7, the one that stung. That's usually the one costing you the most. Automate the 10%. Write down your enough. Send half your next raise to the jar. Sell the watch you bought for strangers. Or just look at your savings tonight and, for once, see the hours instead of the numbers. None of this needs a bigger salary. All of it needs you to beat the quiet habits that keep most people broke for life. So, which of the 7 are you guilty of right now? Drop the number below. I read every one.